Oh, yeah. We're
Oh,
back.
there it
Another
is.
episode of Sparring Sessions. This week, we're here breaking down UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev, picks and predictions. But first, I have to bring in my co-host for the week, a man I've grown to know pretty closely over the past 6 years or so. My favorite MMA page. Sorry, Jeannie. I'm sorry, Jeannie.
Genie's shaking. Oh, Genie's shaking.
How you doing today, Kay?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me on, my brother.
Yeah, welcome. Always glad to have somebody of your stature, of your not just and you're a pretty tall guy, but you've been a fan for a while. We've known each other for a while. You want to give a quick introduction to your page and what you do?
Oh yeah, basically run CT Society. Kind of started for fun a few years back. Really a while. I actually started CT Nation, and that account got taken down. Now we're at CT Society, but yeah, just basically post highlight KOs, try to add a little comedy to the twists and the captions there, and then we've grown it pretty decent so far. Nothing too crazy, but it's going strong.
Oh yeah, proud to say we've it's been growing. I've been a follower since, not day one, not quite day one, but pretty close there. Pretty close.
It's been a group effort for sure in the chat, no doubt.
It's been wonderful. So yeah, thanks for coming on. We are here not to talk about your page. We could spend an hour talking about some of your favorite clips, but first, before we introduce the pay-per-view, we do have to talk about last week. Kape Zombaev went down the Apex. It was a pretty bad card. I don't want to spend long. Did you watch it and anything of note for you?
I mean, I watched a good amount. The heavyweight knockout was probably the highlight of the card for me. It was really mainly the only one fight that really delivered. Main event was pretty good. Kind of a weird ending there, but I mean, kind of what you expect for an Apex card this day and age.
Yeah, I mean, it was better than I thought it was going to be, but that's not saying much at all.
Yeah, expectations were low for sure on that one.
Yeah, that's all the recap we really need to do. I mean, Kape won, but who cares? And then Cody Brundage won, and really, who cares besides Cody Brundage? No, we're here to talk about a much better card. This card was better, a week ago, but it's still pretty good. I'll say it's still a pay-per-view. UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev. That's right. Alex Pereira is facing what I'd say is his first real test at light heavyweight. Magomed Ankalaev, Dagestani of the highest order, going down in the T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. We're out of the Apex. Still in Vegas, but out of the Apex.
For now.
Oh, God. We'll talk about next week's Apex card. That's but yeah, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, United States of America. Going down 6 p.m. Eastern. That's what it says. They lost a fight, so I don't know if they're going to change it up.
They'll probably push it back a little bit, most likely, yeah.
Yeah, 10 p.m. main card, Eastern start time. Yeah, 11 fights. 9 out of 22 fighters are ranked, which I'm very thankful for. A lot of good names on this card. Some of the fights that we didn't get, though, Brunno Silva versus Joshua Van is off. Rei Tsuruya is in for Brunno Silva. We'll talk about that fight. Janata Diniz and Vitor Petrino is off. I really wish that fight would have happened, but we were there live, actually. We saw Vitor Petrino die, pretty much. So would have liked to see that happen again. Matsumoto was pulled off of this card to fight Font a few weeks ago. And then we'll talk about this one, the big news. Rafael Fiziev is in for Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje was going to be, well, definitely, I'd say the most fun and fan-friendly fight of the night. My guess is the one you were looking forward to the most.
Yeah, that'd be my fight of the year right there. That's my dream.
That's the dream. CTE Society, those are two kings of CTE Society. But yeah, overall as a card, what would you rate this card? It could be number, it could be letter grade. How excited are you?
Probably with the Hooker fight calling out, I'd probably be at like a C plus B minus range, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably under the B range, maybe more to a C plus. I mean, there's a lot this card has to offer, and I feel like it's going to produce a lot of highlights, but the name value at the top for a pay-per-view, especially in 2025, it could be a little bit more loaded, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm probably at a B minus. B minus. I mean, we've had some good pay-per-views. So that being said, we're kicking it off with, I would say, the two most well-known fighters of the night. I'm just kidding. Middleweight, Djorden Santos, minus 192 versus Ozzy Diaz, plus 160. Djorden Santos is a debuting fighter off the Contender Series. He beat up Will Curry, a fighter I was pretty high on. And yeah, debuting, kind of unknown, not a ton of tape. No, he's no LFA guy. And he's fighting Ozzy Diaz. Diaz made his debut last time out, got knocked out cold by Min Ying Zhang. And he's actually dropping to light heavyweight now, or to middleweight. He was at middleweight before, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but coming down. There's a guy who, if you remember, he lost to Joe Pyfer. He was the other side of the B Joe Pyfer guy. Fought in LFA before. Ozzy Diaz, a little bit taller, 4 inches of height, 3 inches of reach, an advantage. Keg, one of the reasons I brought you on for this card is you give it to the fans straight. You're not watching a ton of regional promotions, not a ton of Dana White's Contender Series, but you're a hardcore, and you tell what the people want to know. I mean, your shirt, it's a wonderful shirt. Let's see it. Yeah, pronouns are Sean,
man. That's still my boy.
So I'm going to ask you two things. You're going first. I'm going to ask for your pick, and secondly, do you care at all about this fight?
My level of care is minimal, absolutely, probably close to zero. I do think, what's his name, Santos. I mean, he's coming in. He's on a heck of a streak, so you never really know. It's his debut. He could come in, ball out, get a vicious knockout, and kind of make his name for himself right away. But with what I know now going into the fight, my expectations are not too high for this one. And, I mean, hopefully we get a highlight, but that's all I really got for that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. Djorden Santos is the pick. I don't know. Ozzy Diaz is just kind of this guy they brought in there to lose to Min Ying Zhang, and I think he's going to do the same here. I really wanted him versus Tuco Tokos or Kang, but
hey, maybe next. Maybe next.
Yeah, that's all for that fight. Another fight, I don't know how much longer we're going to spend on it. Another Santos, Marion Santos, this time down at featherweight. He has a minus 380 versus Francis Marshall. Santos technically 1-0 in the UFC. I mean, 0-0 if you count tough finale, but he won the Ultimate Fighter finale with a pretty vicious knockout last time over Con Offley. Was in LFA before that. Marshall on the other side, 2-2 in the UFC. He's coming off the split decision win over Dennis Bazooka, known phenomenal fighter, Dennis Bazooka, and he had a few losses before that. It's my turn. Myron Santos. I mean, Francis Marshall came in with some hype, but this is a guy who could barely. He like gridded out a win over Connor Matthews on the Contender Series, and I mean, look at how Connor Matthews has turned out. So pretty easy Myron Santos victory.
Yeah.
Maybe we get another knockout here.
Yeah, I could see a stoppage for sure. I'm going Santos as well on this one.
Yeah. Not too much to say on a lot of these fights.
Yeah.
This one, maybe a little bit more. Welterweights, two veterans. Carlos Leal and Alex Morono. Leal, you're minus 700 favorite to
That's
Morono,
crazy.
plus 500. Yeah, I mean, Leal just came in the UFC. He he's not a new guy to the scene. He's had 30-something fights. He's fought for Bellator. He's fought for PFL, LFA, you name it. Last fight, I wouldn't call it a robbery, but he should have won that fight against Renat Fakhretdinov. Maybe that where they
That's the guy who beat Kevin Lee, right?
What?
Did he beat Kevin Lee?
Geez, you're testing me. I really should have seen this.
I feel like he sees holes a lot of the time. Let me see.
Sees holes. It's tough with these guys because they don't have Wikipedia pages.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Look at Keg knowing more than me.
Okay, I'm a little hip to him then.
Kevin Lee. Yeah. And on the other side, Morono, another vet, 18 or 13-8 in the UFC with 1 no contest, 1-3 in the past 4, coming off split decision wins to D-Rod and Nico Price. You're somewhat of a betting man yourself. We'll have our bet show later on, but I will ask you here and there to comment on the line. I mean, are you picking Leal, and do you agree with this minus 700 price tag?
I think that the line's pretty insane, especially for a guy like Morono. I mean, he's not like a super elite fighter, but dude, he's been in there with some savages and he holds his own. He's beat a lot of guys that people thought would put it on him pretty hard. So, I mean, let's see. I mean, Leal coming off that loss, I think that's his only UFC fight. I mean, dude, I'm sprinkling Morono here for sure, honestly. With odds that crazy, he has all that experience, like you said. You never really know what can happen. And the guy's, I think it's his second fight, so it's almost like a debut in a way. I'm gonna have to take Morono with a little sprinkle, maybe a unit.
Ooh, Morono, I like it. I'll pick Leo, but I would definitely never bet this. I mean, it's these are 2 bets. Morono's beaten, Cowboy Cerrone and Anthony Pettis, so I think he can win here pretty easily.
I think he could for sure, yeah.
Again, don't care too much about this one. This one could be interesting. Middleweights, Brunno Ferreira, Hulk, plus 130 versus Armen Petrosyan, minus 155. Petrosyan coming off, he got double back fist KO'd by Shara Bullet. And before that, he got subbed by Rodolfo Vieira. 3-3 in the UFC. Petrosyan has a 5-inch height advantage, but a 1-inch reach disadvantage somehow to Ferreira.
That makes sense. That's crazy.
Ferreira, Hulk, 3-2 in the UFC. He's coming off a submission loss to Boost Magomedov. Both these guys have wins over Gregory Rodriguez. Unfortunately, my
Pain.
king. Pain indeed. I'm going Ferreira in this one. I think he can KO Petrosyan. I mean, Petrosyan got caught not that long ago, and Ferreira, as long as he doesn't gas out, he's got hands. He's got hands. You with me?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Brunno as well. I think, coming off the knockout, especially when you're going against a guy who hits as hard as Brunno, it could be tough. I mean, I see a way for Armen to win. Like, I feel like he had like legit flashes there where he looked like he could have been like a potential contender, you could word it as. I mean, he's pretty good on the outside. He can piece dudes up and stay mobile, and he can win fights. Get decision wins. He's kind of had a little skid lately, so we'll see. But I'm going to take Brunno, just kind of going with his power and the fact that Armen kind of got slept his last fight. A little bit of an early stoppage, but what can you do?
Love it. Petrosyan's a little more technical. Wouldn't be shocked if he wins, but sometimes you got to pick the guy who's going to have the fun fight. If Ferrer wins, it's going to be fun. So
for sure, yeah. He's going to be swinging and banging.
Yeah. Next up, peel back the curtain here a little bit. Some of these, Will and I have been talking, some of these early fights, especially these prelims, some of these Apex cards, Will and I have been spending a little too much time, so I'm glad we're rushing through. I mean, last week we spent 5 minutes on Andrea Lee versus JJ Aldrich. So
couldn't pay me to listen to that, man. Couldn't pay me.
God. So I'm glad we're flying through these. One that I'm very interested in. This is a great fight. Number 15 ranked Joshua Van at flyweight, minus 218 versus Rei Tsuruya, plus 164. Aforementioned, this is short notice for Tsuruya. Van was supposed to fight Brunno Bulldog Silva. Tsuruya 1-0 in the UFC, road to UFC champion or winner, whatever you call that. I don't know. It's a weird thing. He was a Greco-Roman wrestler for Japan, which is kind of like judo for those who don't know. Van on the other side, 5-1 in the UFC, 2-fight win streak. This is kind of just your typical grappler versus striker fight. Tsuruya has been very good against strikers. Van's been very good against wrestlers. And both guys super young, 22 and 23, I believe. Both of them
Makes
under
me feel
20.
old, man. Jesus.
Yeah, this is I saw this on Twitter. I haven't confirmed it, but somebody said this is the first fight where both fighters were born in the 2000 in the 21st century.
Oh, and they're
Which
matching up.
yeah, which
That's
it's
crazy.
it's crazy. It makes me feel old as
It
well.
does for sure.
Um,
Wow.
so yeah, odds are a little wider than I expected. For Tsuruya's got a ton of hype.
Hmm.
Do you think Van's going to continue his win streak, or is Tsuruya going to put a halt to this?
I'm going with Van on this one. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's a super exciting young guy. I mean, like you said, only being 23, like he's got years to develop and keep getting more, just more developed and add to his arsenal.
Yeah,
I'm not too hip with our boy, let's see, Ray, I think his name is how you say it?
Rei Tsuruya.
Yeah, so I'm not too hip. So I mean, he could come in and bring in a lot of hype. Van did get slept. I think Charles Johnson slept Joshua Van, didn't he?
Oh
So I
yeah,
mean, it's like you never really know with these young guys. They can come in, start swinging and banging, and get slept. But I'm gonna go with Van here, and then once he wins this one, I'd like to see him get a pretty good step up in competition. So he's ranked 14 now. So I mean, I'd like to see him try to get somebody close to the top 10. I feel like it'd be cool. I'm not 100% sure what the rankings are like right now, but I feel like he's working his way up. He's moving in the right direction lately.
yeah. I agree. I'm on Van. I think Tsuruya does need a little more experience, and Van looked pretty good against. Oh, I'm blanking here at Sphere. He beat Edgar Chirez and Cody Durden and at 310. So two guys who tried to wrestle him, not to the caliber of Rei Tsuruya, but still two pretty good wrestlers, and
That Durden fight was a really good fight too.
that was a banger.
Yeah, they were super banging.
Uh, so yeah, I'm on you with Van. I would like to see him get a step up as well. I mean, he would be 6-1 in the UFC. Coming off, I don't think he has any ranked wins, but I mean, he definitely is a fighter that, yeah, because Charles Johnson would have been his only ranked win, but he's got some great wins, and I would love to, you know what I'd like? The guy who just beat Charles Johnson yesterday as we recorded, Tamirov. That would be a striking
It could be
fight.
good. Yeah, that'd be fun for sure.
Yeah, glad we're in agreement on this one. Should be a great fight. Next one, I don't know. This one might not be great. It's a fight. It's a fight. It's a weird fight. Heavyweight, number 5 ranked Curtis Blaydes. It's a -300 versus Rizvan Kuniev plus 240. You might say to yourself, "Oh wow, Rizvan Kuniev, undefeated he's not undefeated. He's lost a few times, but guy who's coming and making his debut. He must be a champion in another organization. He must be, Alex Pereira to fight a top 5 guy in his debut. Nope. He's okay.
Just a guy. Just
a guy. Spent some time in PFL, Eagle FC, Contender Series a few times. Pretty well-rounded, but he did pop for like 8 steroids a few fights ago.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. It was one of those where it's like, it's not just one, it's a list. He was out for 2 years, 3 years.
Suddenly I'm a fan.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully he's on them this fight because Curtis Blaydes on the other side, 13-5 in the UFC, coming off that KO loss against Tom Aspinall. Only really lost to the best. I mean, Aspinall, Ngannou, Derek Lewis. And I think, this is me, right? Yeah, this is me. I think Blaydes is going to come in here, hold down Kuniev for 3 rounds. I don't know why this fight's being made. Maybe Kuniev can just KO him, but he's not really a huge KO guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird. This is also the last fight on the prelims that's trying to sell you to buy the pay-per-view. I don't know why they wouldn't put the Josh Van fight here, but are you picking Blaydes as well?
I'm probably gonna go with Blaydes. I mean, he's taken a lot of damage in his career, though. Honestly, like Tom put him out bad, Sergi put him out not too bad, but put him out. I guess the Tom stoppage was kind of early, like actually a little bit early. But then the Derek Lewis fucking flatline KO, followed by one of the most famous FaceTime calls of all time. Like it's took its toll on old Curtis for sure. I'm gonna ride with Curtis here. I'm gonna hope he can work his grappling, get him on the ground. I'm assuming he'll probably grind out a decision, maybe get a TKO or sub in the 3rd, but I'm gonna go with Curtis here. I also would not be shocked though if he gets flatlined. I mean, this dude's been putting a couple guys out.
Yeah.
He's on a long ass streak right now, so I mean, he's clearly got some power, clearly got some skill. So we're gonna have to see. It should be a decent fight.
Yeah. Maybe we get another phone call from ShopRite's own
Chester, PA, where you at?
Chester B. We can't let him know. We can't let him know. So yeah, it sounds like we're in agreement on that one. Could be boring or could be good, and Curtis Blade could lose. First fight on the main card. Yeah. First fight on the main card. Curtis Blaydes. No, sorry, not Curtis. We just did that one. King Green. His name is officially. I don't know if he officially changed it, but it says King Green on a few sites.
Oh,
I'm gonna say King Green, formerly Bobby Green, plus 380 against Mauricio Ruffy, minus 500. 13. Green is 13-11-1 with no contest in the UFC. So he's a vet. A little older, 38 years old, coming off that triangle loss versus Patty. Got put out in that fight. And he's fighting an up-and-comer. I mean, Ruffy 2-0 in the UFC, on a win streak. He just beat up James Yontop in that last fight. Taller, longer, 4 inches of reach, fighting nerd, which is incredibly popular team right now. I put together a little something special for you. This is not going to be a surprise to you because I did show you beforehand, but I'm well, I guess the podcast fans wouldn't know. I'm a bit of a computer guy. I like to throw together some stuff here and there. I have this early stoppage meter. For those who don't know, you run, one of the gimmicks on your page is you love early stoppages, like in the Curtis Blaydes versus Derek Lewis fight. That was
big fan of that one. Big fan of that one.
Big fan of that one. So we have the ye old early stoppage meter here, and I'm going to ask you for each of these fights, your prediction, obviously, but also what's your early stoppage rating? 5 obviously being the best, 1 being a snooze fest, we'll call it. So start off, King Green, big underdog, Mauricio Ruffy. He's got all the momentum. Who you taking here, and what's your rating?
So I think I'm gonna go with Ruffy here. Bobby, Bobby got put out by Patty. Bobby was robbed by Jalin Turner. That fight was stopped way too early. There's no doubt about that. So you kind of got to scratch that one. But Ruffy's been on a tear here. I feel like out of the fighting nerds, kind of from what I hear, just on different videos and people who are kind of behind the scenes, that Ruffy's probably going to be the best one coming out of that gym. And kind of from like what the UFC thinks, he might have the highest ceiling. I'm going to go Ruffy here. And I definitely think he's going to put Bobby out in highlight fashion. I would put this one high up on the meter. I'm going to give this a solid 4 that we get a highlight. I could even see Ruffy getting a 50K bonus off this fight. God bless Bobby, though.
I love it. All right. I already warned you. If you're listening at home, if you got headphones in especially.
I want to turn that down.
I don't know how loud this is going to go, but. Oh, yeah. If you couldn't hear that, that was our wonderful king, Jorge Masvidal, KOing Ben Askren. That was the
glorious thing.
Oh, I tried to get the Medell
early.
So early. Oh, my God. I'm with you, Ruffy. I mean, Bobby Green's he got put out bad versus Jalin Turner not that long ago. Seems like this is going to happen again.
Most likely. Yeah, I think Ruffy's more dangerous than Turner, so it's like, and Patty. So I mean,
and Patty.
It might be dicey for old Bobby.
It is, and it should be a good one. Either way, these are 2 exciting guys.
I do want to add though, with the odds the way they are, and Bobby with all the experience he has, I should say. I mean, it might be worth a small sprinkle on Bobby. You never know. You never know. I love a nice sprinkle. I might have to put a little something on Bobby just in case.
Sprinkle season, indeed. I wouldn't bet Ruffy. Maybe the odds get a little closer. I don't know.
What's him by KO? Can you check that?
Let me take a look. Gotta find my favorite sports book. You know how it is. Sometimes they don't have these out. But there's one, we're not sponsored by any of these. If you work for one of these sports books and you like to sponsor us, we will sell our soul for you.
You need to get that Colby Covington, my bookie sponsor.
Ooh, maybe not that one.
I don't think that sports book exists anymore, but they're still giving Colby money.
They are. Okay, I'm not seeing any KO props. I am seeing the under 1.5 at plus 180. So maybe they're expecting a finish here, or they're expecting a decision here.
Yeah, I could possibly see that.
Maybe you get Ruffy KO close to even money. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty good. I'd probably bet that for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next fight, one that I'm guessing it's going to be a little lower on the scale. Number 5, strawweights. Number 5, Amanda Lemos versus Iasmin Lucindo. Lemos plus 120, Lucindo minus 142. Another vet versus young prospect here. Lemos is 37, definitely a vet. 8-4 in the UFC, coming off that armbar loss to Virna Jandiroba. Lucindo on the other side, 4-fight win streak, 4-1 in the UFC, coming off that win over Marina Rodriguez. Lucindo's a lot younger. I want to say she's 23 as well. I should double check.
Yeah, she is 23.
23 years old. This is odds are a little closer. Lemos hasn't looked as bad as King Green has in some of these fights. I'll kick us off here. I'm going Amanda Lemos. I mean, I've seen Lucindo. She didn't look great against Marina Rodriguez, and Rodriguez, I think, has lost more of a step than Lemos. Lemos has power. She has submission skills, and I think you kind of have to really dominate her or put her away to win. And I don't see Lucindo fully doing that. Do you agree? And I'm going to need that early stoppage meter score.
Yeah, man, I don't really got a whole lot on this one, to be completely honest with you. My pick's going to be Lucindo. But, I mean, my reasoning behind that's not a whole lot besides the fact that she's on a 4-fight streak. She's got a little bit of momentum. I know Lemos has fought some pretty tough competition and is probably a little bit more battle-tested, but I think I'm still going to go with the young gun here at 23 years old with Lucindo. And for the early stoppage meter, this might not even be in the charts. If I could give it a 0, I would, but I guess we're going to have to go with a 1 here.
1.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
And I doubt that we will be impressed with either performance on this.
Never know, though.
Never know. Could get a nice highlight reel. I would be much appreciative. This one, next fight, this is a really interesting fight to me. Jalin Turner, number 13 ranked at minus 108, pretty much a pick'em versus Ignacio Bahamondes, minus 112. Turner, 7-5 in the UFC, 2-fight skid. He both of his last 2 fights were against Moicano and
Bobby. So I think it's just a 1-fight skid.
Oh, yeah. What am I saying? The past few fights, okay. 1-fight skid, 1-3 in the last 4. All 3 of those losses have been fights he was winning initially. I mean, he knocked down Moicano, didn't finish. He was beating Hooker and he was beating Gamrot, and then he just kind of ran out of steam.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bahamondes on the other side, he's 5-2 in the UFC, lost a few years ago to Ludwig Klein, 2 round 1 KOs since. The interesting part, though, these guys are both huge for lightweight. Both are 6'3", both have a 75-inch reach. I was looking back. I think this is going to be Turner's first fight since the Dan Hooker fight where he's fought somebody as big as him. So you're up first for this one. Do you think that Bahamondes's size is gonna give Turner some troubles here, or Do you think this is, a little too much too fast for?
I think the size might give him some issues, but I mean, I think Ignacio, I think he's got that dog in him. I think he's a gritty young dude, and he's going to push forward and look for the finish. And especially, I mean, we've seen Turner basically quit out there to an extent a couple times against Moicano. He literally walked away from getting the knockout there, walked away from his win bonus. So I mean, it's like, and then got pounded out and quit later. And then against Hooker, he smoked Hooker, kicked his jaw off his face, and then couldn't get him out of there and ended up losing that fight as well. Got Bobby Green out of there. Stoppage is a little questionable, a little early on it. I think Ignacio's got a lot of upside. Who was his last fight? It was in the Sphere, wasn't it?
He beat Manuel
Torres in the Sphere.
Pretty good one.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Galgos isn't too bad either, so back-to-back first-round finishes, like you said. I think I'm going to take Ignacio, and I'm going to take him late into the fight. I could see him getting the stoppage in the third round, kind of a trend in Turner's career lately, getting stopped late or kind of just gassing out late. And I think Ignacio potentially has what it takes to get the finish there. For the early stoppage meter, I'm going to put this one probably about a 3. I think Ignacio could get a late stoppage in the fight. And then, Turner is also dangerous, though. He could clip him, get him out of there in the first round. You never really know. He's got a lot of weapons. He's hurt a lot of dudes. So I'm taking Ignacio, final pick. And for the meter, I'm going to give it a 3.
3?
Well, now, please stop. I can't let you get close.
Oh.
Uncle Chael.
I'm with you on Bahamondes. I think Turner is a guy who uses his distance, uses his reach. I mean, you look at some of his recent losses. I mentioned it with Dan Hooker. Even so, either he's getting outstruck like Dan Hooker on the feet, just gasses out, or he's getting grappled like Gamrot and Moicano. Bahamondes, I don't know. I don't think he's a big, he's definitely not a big takedown guy, but he has grappled in the past. I mean, not like offensively. He doesn't have any takedowns, but he has a few submission wins on his record, so maybe that's in the back pocket if he needs it. I think the young gun wins here. So yeah. Next up, could have been so great. Lightweight co-main event. Number 3 ranked Justin Gaethje plus 124 against number 11 ranked Rafael Fiziev minus 148. This is short notice. Fiziev stepping in on week and a half notice for Dan Hooker. Gaethje's been training all the time. Gaethje 8-5 in the UFC, coming off that. I mean, one of the earliest stoppages of all time versus Max Holloway.
So early, man. So much left in the tank.
He that 1 second he could have come back. I mean, that was his second.
He was looking for an ankle lock. I saw it.
Yeah, Gaethje, it's weird to say he's had a pretty up and down career, but seems like he's kind of on the down slope of his career. And yeah, this is a rematch actually. Fiziev on the 2023. It's crazy. That was so long ago.
I mean, that was his last fight was in 2023 too.
Yeah. This against Gaethje in 2023, I consider that his last real fight.
Yeah.
He had a fight later on in the year versus Mateusz Gamrot, but he tore his ACL pretty early. I mean,
I forgot he blew his knee out.
Yeah.
I actually completely forgot about that. That's wild.
Yeah. So, this is a rematch, really close fight. I had it for Fiziev in 2023, but could be, Gaethje won it, could have scored it for Gaethje. So yeah, and this is one where I think if this were a full camp, I'd pick Fiziev confidently. He was piecing Gaethje up in the first fight. I scored it for him. Gaethje's been hurt. Fiziev has power. He has kicks. He has, you name it. I think he would fuck Gaethje up on a full camp. I'm a little less confident, a week and a half notice, but I mean, he knows Gaethje. He's trained for him before, so I think he can win this. Would Gaethje knocking him out? I mean, it was a decision last time, but would Gaethje knocking him out shock me or upset me? Not in the slightest. Yeah, kind of a weird fight though. Definitely worse than the original fight. Yeah.
That's true. It's funny because there's two like big factors here for me. It's like Fiziev's coming off the couch of 2-3 years or whatever it's been now. And then Gaethje just got scraped off the canvas his last fight and almost died. So it's just like, I think honestly, I think this fight could be pretty slow paced. I think Gaethje could come out there and be a little, not necessarily hesitant, but smart in his own eyes and take it slow, be patient out there. So if I'm not mistaken, in the first fight, Gaethje won by kind of turning up in the back half of the fight, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost early and kind of came back and won the last 2 rounds. So this one's a 3-round fight, I believe, correct?
Yeah. Originally, though, Gaethje Hooker was 5 rounds. They shortened it.
I think I'm taking Gaethje here, honestly. The 3-round aspect could possibly favor Fiziev because he's going to start hot and he's going to be on him landing bombs. But I'm going to take Gaethje. I think he might be a little patient here. Maybe for once in his life, shoots a takedown, mixes it up, just tries to keep Fiziev guessing. I'm going to take Gaethje by decision. I think it's going to be a good fight. There's going to be some blood shed for sure in this one. Early stoppage meter. And another thing I saw Gaethje say, if he gets slept, he's going to retire.
Ooh.
If he has one more knockout, he's done. So I think that, I mean, obviously that's going to be in the back of his head, and the Holloway KO is in the back of his head. So I think he's going to be a little patient. I think he's going to get to a decision, and I think Nashville's ear and Gaethje gets the win. Early stoppage meter, I'll give it a 4. I think there is a good chance of a KO from both sides, but my pick's going to be Gaethje decision, but I'll still put it at a 4.
Love it. And yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the original would have been a 5.
Yeah,
Hooker,
for sure. No, someone was losing their life in that fight.
Yeah. Funny enough.
What could have been?
I wish, man. The only, Justin Gaethje you mentioned it, was a collegiate wrestler, has that in the back pocket. The only takedown of Justin Gaethje's career was against Rafael Fiziev. It was like,
Really?
It was a throwaway last 30 seconds or something, but still.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, wonderful. And we are to the main event, light heavyweight championship main event. A lot of words there. The champion, Alex Pereira, number 3 pound for pound, minus 118, is a guy who came to the UFC. He's a little older. I think he's 38. It's light heavyweight, though. He came to the UFC, he was smoking everybody, smoked your boy, Sean Strickland.
Still my boy, man. Still my boy.
Still your boy. Actually, I think he's going to be in the corner. I know, they trained together. Pereira was in Strickland's corner, so friendship there. And then, he was killing himself to make middleweight, beat Izzy there to be the champion, came up, and hasn't lost since the Izzy fight. But this is going to be, he had 3 KOs last year, looked untouchable. But those were against guys who everybody thought, for the most part, he was going to beat, unless your name is Tristan. I'll never forget. Tristan had 7 units on Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira. Yeah.
He needs to be locked in a padded room for that one. Good Lord, Jimmy.
But yeah, Ankalaev, minus 102, number 1 contender. He's on a I actually don't have it. I have his win streak here, but
he's on kind of like a weird. I got it pulled up. You want me to go over it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I mean, I'll just go back to his last couple of recent ones. So like in 2022, he fought Yan to a draw. Blachowicz.
Yeah.
That was kind of a weird fight. I think there was a point deduction or something in there.
No, that was the 10-8. You remember because he got Jan leg kicked him
and almost finished him.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, it was the no contest versus Walker.
Yep.
And then he starched Walker, which was nice. And then he had the fight against Rakic, which is a pretty good fight. I feel like he was pretty hittable against Rakic, though. I feel like that Rakic fight opened a lot of people's eyes up because, I mean, he was dominating a lot of people before that. He had Anthony Smith before Jan, where he ground and pounded him out. I feel like he looked a lot more human against Rakic, though.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He lost a round. Didn't shoot any takedowns, too. That's going to be a big, big factor in this one. 11-fight unbeaten streak, which you mentioned the draw Rizvan for the title, actually. Only a 2-fight winning streak. and one of those guys who's lost to Paul Craig, despite Paul Craig being awful at fighting.
I actually bet on Paul Craig in that fight, which is hilarious to look back on.
Oh, I love that. That's great. I hope he wins. I don't know what the odds were. I hope he won.
Oh, he was a huge underdog, like plus 360, plus 400 range.
God, Paul Craig. Oh, but yeah, I mean, Poatan, his glory kickboxing champion, multi-division, KO power to the max. A little older, 5 inches of reach. Ankalaev saying he's going to strike with Poatan. I don't know if I believe that, but he was like a Samba champion, so who knows? I mean, he can strike. He's not a fish out of water, but this is a different ball game. Takedowns are the big question here. Ankalaev, only 0.92 takedowns per fight with a 31% accuracy. Poatan, 70% takedown defense in the UFC. That being said, he hasn't really fought a wrestler like Ankalaev. So this is your turn to go first. 3 questions. I know, 3 questions. First one, do you think he's going to wrestle, or do you think he's going to keep this on the feet? Who do you have winning, and what's your early stoppage meter rating?
I think it definitely be in Ankalaev's best interest to shoot for some takedowns, try to get it on the mat. Even if he doesn't get much out of it, just getting Alex on the mat and try to tire him out a little bit will do wonders later on in the fight to try to hopefully diminish Alex's power. I think kind of going over Ankalaev's last few fights, if this fight would have happened like when he fought Jan the first time, I would have picked Ankalaev probably to just neutralize him on the feet a little bit and then get him down and kind of dominate. But I don't know. We haven't really seen him wrestle too much lately, and I feel like he's there to be hit. I feel like if he does try to stand with Poatan like he says he is, which, fighters say stuff all the time before fights, but I think he's probably going to try to a little bit, and I think there's going to be holes there for Poatan to get him to sleep him pretty good. If Ankalaev can't get him down, if that's his game plan, he's trying to do that throughout the whole fight. At the beginning of every round, they're starting on the feet, and there's still time there for Poatan to land a bomb and sleep him, hopefully. So I'm rocking with Poatan here. I think Ank's going to try to shoot a couple takedowns. And at the end of the day, I think we're going to see a Poatan left hook put him out viciously. I'm going to have to give this one early stoppage number 5. Ooh. First number 5 rating in history.
I didn't think we were getting it. It is indeed Herb Dean's fault. Shout out to that 3 mentions that Curtis Blaydes, Derek Lewis. There we go. Black.
Yeah, I'm historic knockout. What can we say?
I'm with you. I'm taking Pereira. I mean, if you know me, you know how big of a fan I am. I was trying to get the shirt washed, but couldn't find it. Could not find any of the Alex Pereira shirts. Yeah, I think Ankalaev is going to try to strike with him. I think it's a horrible idea. If I knew he was just going to go in and shoot takedowns, I might be a little more worried about this pick. But, I mean, you said it. He sees holes. There's levels to this.
Like Corey Anderson once said, there's levels.
There's levels. The fact that Ankalaev isn't really a finisher. I mean, Anthony Smith and Johnny Walker, he's finished. And Iwan Kutalaba, sure. But he's not finishing, Thiago Santos, Volkan Ozdemir.
Yeah, he's not finishing top-ranked guys.
I'm not super worried, even if he gets him down. Like you said, every round starts on the feet. So, yeah, I'm going Poatan here. I sure hope so.
Breach.
I don't know if I'm going to bet it. Let's be real. I'm going to bet it no matter what because he's my guy. But I sure love a big underdog number here, but unfortunately not.
Yeah, I'm not ready to live in a world where Ankalaev is my 205 champ, man. I'm just not ready for that. Sorry.
Nope. I don't want it. So, yeah. Jumping to our second to last segment real quick. Regional Minute. You guys know what this is. I just run through the cards this week, not UFC. Super quick. EFC 121, Thursday, March 6th, 8 a.m. Eastern, going down to South Africa. If you want some early MMA on a Thursday, sure. It's not the greatest card, but you got a guy on there who was on the Ultimate Fighter recently, so I'll take it. I think you have to pay for this, but it's only like $10. You can find it if you really want to and don't want to pay the money. Legally, of course. Don't do illegal things. Thursday at 4 p.m. on Fight Pass, you got the UFC Fight Pass Invitational. A little surprise announcement here. Felix, our buddy Felix and I are actually going to do an episode on this tomorrow. So
Right
I'm
on,
not
that's cool.
spend too long here. LFA 203, Thursday at 11 p.m. Light heavyweight championship on the line. Not a ton on the card. They've had some cancellations that kind of ruined it. Fight Pass as well. Power Slap 12, Friday at noon.
Ooh. Now we're talking.
I know you're a Power Slap enthusiast, enjoyer. Isaiah Quinones and Brandon Bordeaux. Do you know who these?
Oh, those are my two favorites. I'm lifelong fans of both of them for sure.
Yeah. I don't. How do you watch this? I
think like Rumble or something, some weird platform like that.
Rumble, sure.
I've been a little bad at catching them live lately, but I mean they're all over. I mean, as Dana White says, they get the most social media numbers, more than Real Madrid, as Dana says. So
more than Real Madrid, yeah.
If you all over Insta,
want to watch some guys slap each other on Friday, go to Rumble or wherever. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Samurai MMA 13 going down Friday at 6 p.m. on Fight Pass. You got two UFC vets on the card, Darian Weeks and Yuan Lainez. Not former title challengers or anything, but figured I'd mention it.
That's in Felix's backyard, ain't it?
Oh, yeah. Gatineau, Quebec, wherever that is, up in good old 51st state.
Yeah.
Yeah. One Fight Night 29 on Friday at 8 p.m. They actually haven't released this. Oh, yes, they did. I just had to refresh. Not a ton of names. I mean, Alicia Rodriguez, if that means anything to you, but watch it if you want some fights. Same thing on Saturday, noon. Octagon with a K has their vacant heavyweight championship on the line. A few guys you might recognize. Mahmoud Muradov.
He's nasty. Irish dude, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Wolf Fury. Mahmoud Muradov, former UFC fighter, former gay pornography actor.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. He's filmed a series of, I believe, solo videos.
Who'd you say that was for educational purposes only?
Mahmoud Muradov. That's spelled M-A. No.
Oh, I remember that. He was in the UFC. Oh, I do remember that now. Yeah.
I believe it was the videos were made during his title run. So super fun. Also Saturday.
Gotta get that dual income. Gotta get money both ways, man.
Also Saturday, 11 a.m. Cage Warriors 183 going down in Rome, Italy. Bantamweight, middleweight championships on the line. Some fights. And then last but not least, KSW interim middleweight championship is on the line. Saturday at 3 p.m. It's a card. Not a bunch of names that anybody's going to recognize unless you love Polish MMA for some reason, like our buddy Reed does. Last but not least, before I let you go, UFC Fight Night, Djelice vs. Vettori 2 is next week. If you remember, Djelice lost to Vettori, UFC 286, I believe, 2 years ago. For some reason, they're running this back.
The rematch no one asked for.
Yeah, nobody asked for it. Nobody wanted. Nobody's going to watch. It's a pretty shitty card. UFC Apex. I usually say, what's your favorite fight? You can tell me if you don't have a favorite fight here. What you got for me?
I mean, first of all, this UFC, it might as well be a B2 card. It might as well be a Hard Rock MMA card. This is just insane.
I'd watch then.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be a great card if it was Hard Rock. I'm probably, for my fight of the night, or at least the one I'm looking most forward to, I'm probably going to go with a Span and a Costa. Two big bodies. They're going to go out there and throw it. Hopefully we get a knockout. Hopefully we get something to remember this card by. But let's be honest, we're probably not at all.
Yeah. Maybe the Kevin Vallejos, I kind of like him fight. It's good. I don't know. Josiane Nunes versus Priscilla Cachoeira is going to be horrible, and I am here for it. And yeah, we will be here for it. I don't know who I'm going to get on to cover predictions. Nobody's going to want to do this. Maybe
you might have to pay somebody for that one.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, we hope you enjoy the fights. Keg, thanks so much for coming on.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
Where can people find your page?
You see the little thing right there, CT Society on Instagram. It's pretty much the only place I'm operating right now. Jump in the comments, drop something, just posted something today. Feel free to check it out.
Love it. Well, thanks for coming on. Hope you enjoy the fights. Hope you, the viewer, enjoy the fights. Usually this is where I would ask people to like, comment, and subscribe if I were a no good shill of a YouTuber. So instead, I'm going to tell people, you better like, subscribe, and comment, or I'm going to find out where you live. I'm coming for you.
He's coming. Old Liddy.
All right, we're out now. Bye, everybody.
Fuck Reed. Take it easy.